Hello, everyone. I'm just gonna go live. Ooh, there we go. Really quiet. I'm just gonna put some like really quiet UCH music on in the background. I think maybe. Or Spotify is just like, no, I'm joining all of the tech problems that we had pre-show. Never mind. It was a nice thought. Hello, everyone. Welcome. Today, I, Stephanie, the what do? Community and marketing person. I'm joined with by Fabio, lovely artist, and Kyler, co-founder. What's your official title? Art director, creative director.
Chief Creative Officer. That was the one you get to pick when you're starting a company. You just make up a title.
I feel like that's all you do. Like
Yes.
all of our titles are just made up. What's in the name?
Everything's made up, and the points don't matter.
What's that from?
Whose line is it anyway?
Oh, yes, that's it. But yeah, we've got a bunch of questions that people have asked on the Discord. If anyone's in chat and you have questions you want to ask us, you can ask us in chat too. We have a wide range. We have a bunch of stuff that's like Ultimate Chicken Horse related. We have stuff that's like developer related and stuff that's just random. So let's jump in with I think Fabio might have highlighted this one. This was asked by Captain Hashmi. Were cats a creation made by aliens? Fabio, were cats made by aliens?
No. Aliens were made by cats. We are only alive. We think we are smart with those laser points. We think we are doing them like we're distracting the cats, and then we are all looking. Oh, look, aliens in the sky! Who do you think aliens in the sky is our laser point made by cats? We are only alive because they want us to be alive, so we can serve them, give them food, give them shelter, pet them.
Wasn't that like a storyline of Futurama with like Nibbler?
I don't know.
I vaguely remember that.
What, that aliens were made by cats?
Well, Nibbler was like a cat-like pet, but then turns out they were like a really intelligent alien race that were like protecting Earth or something like that.
See.
I guess this is the cat-free part of the company. No one on the stream has a cat, whereas everybody else in the company has a cat.
That is true.
Look at that. We are the only three with no cats.
There's no cats here.
Yes. Cat-free zone right now.
Yeah.
Your thoughts on the cats?
Oh, do I have thoughts? Well, I guess in that maybe all life was seeded by like an asteroid on Earth or something. Therefore, all life is alien life. That's about as much as I can add to that.
It's fair. I guess if we really like went deep into the conspiracy theory, you know how like people thought that the pyramids were made by aliens and the Egyptians worship cats?
Aha.
Just saying.
Steph is bringing like facts now.
Yeah, facts. Cold hard facts.
Pure facts.
So that's a fun one. Maybe more on the gaming related side. What is our favorite platformers outside of Ultimate Chicken Horse?
Favorite platformers outside of Ultimate Chicken Horse? Well, the character controller in Ultimate Chicken Horse in the code is called Not a Meat Boy. So Super Meat Boy was that was one of like the inspirational ones for me that I probably played in the few years before making Ultimate Chicken Horse. So Meat Boy, and I played a lot of Mario. Just obviously Mario.
Is Sonic a platformer?
I would say so.
Yeah,
Then Sonic.
definitely.
First
That's
Sonic,
platform.
very first one.
Yeah, the first one. The second one is good as well, but the first one.
I had a Sega
Mega
handheld. What
Drive.
was the Sega handheld thing called?
Oh,
Uh,
that
it was like the Steam Deck, but a million years ago.
I forgot the name.
And
I should know this.
I
Of all
had
people, I should know.
I had the Sonic game, and I think it was like a known to be very difficult Sonic game, and like I never got past the first level or the second level because it was so hard, and on a tiny little. Yes, the
Game
Game
Gear.
Gear. Yes,
Thanks,
that
Game
was the one.
Gear. That's it.
The other game it had that was neat on it was Tetris Pac-Man, where you like drop blocks and some of the blocks have Pac-Man in them, and then when they land, the Pac-Man like runs through, I guess, ghosts that were left in the Tetris thing. So it was like a puzzle game Tetris Pac-Man thing. It's pretty cool.
Sounds interesting.
Yeah.
Sorry, you said Sonic. I think my favorite platformer. 3D platformer.
Sonic as well? Sonic as well?
Maybe. I was thinking 3D platformer, Banjo-Kazooie, which I played recently. 2D. Yeah, I think it'd have to be Sonic 2.
I mean, you mean two with two O's or with a two with TWO?
Like the number 2.
Oh, okay.
I actually because I have the Genesis Mini
Oh,
here.
look at that.
Yeah.
True.
Um,
Mega Drive.
Fun fact: I worked on the Genesis Mini. That's why I have one.
Sweet.
But yeah, when I pulled it out and I tried playing Sonic, because I thought that was the first game I ever played, like ever that I remember.
Oh,
but then when I actually tried to play it, I was like, oh, I actually played Sonic 2. I think Sonic 2 is the one where you can like charge up the. Anyway, there's some mechanic in it that I very vividly remembered, and it wasn't Sonic 1. So I was like, the first game I ever played was actually Sonic 2. And I learned that by working on this thing, which was fun.
Just because it's out there, I'd say like, well, it's not out there, but Mirror's Edge is kind of a platformer.
I still
I
haven't
like
played
that
that
quite
one.
a bit. The original.
Who would win? A lizard with a gun or a crab with a scalpel?
I
That
picked
was by
that
Murphy.
one. I picked that question because it's not a good question. It's not a good question. Like a crab will almost always win on a fight. Like a crab needs no weapon because it's born with a lot of weapons. Like it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 like nail spears and 2 like giant scissors. 8 weapons. And you want to give him a knife already? Also, on top of that, a knife. The lizard will only have a what pistol?
Yeah.
No chance for the lizard. And crabs, they walk like that sideways, so it's hard to aim. Like crab, where is the crab going? Where's the crab? Where is he looking? Where is he looking? Yes, crab for the win.
Fabio's all about the crab.
Yes,
Tyler?
So it was a crab with a gun?
No,
A crab with a scalpel or
yes,
a
knife.
lizard with a gun.
I feel like a crab is already like has scalpels on it practically.
Yeah.
It just would be playing to its advantages with the lizard with the gun. Just it's not going to be able to reload. It's not going to be able to fire.
Yes.
I also like what kind of lizard are we talking? Because I don't know, some of them I would see having a really hard time trying to pull the trigger, you know? Like that they don't have dexterous hands or they would be too light, like wouldn't be able to click. I also feel like crabs have the intention to kill. Lizards are too weak, you know? Lizards would want to run away, but a crab is like, no, I am here for one thing only, and that is to kill.
The only lizard with a gun that would make like danger to a crab, it's Rango. The only one.
Uh, here's one that's Ultimate Chicken Horse related. Why is the upblower called the upblower?
Because we already had a fan platform. So I had to have a different name. I don't know why I said upblower, but when I wrote it, I just was like, it's called the upblower. Blows
At
up.
that point, we still couldn't like spin.
I think we could spin it, but I just always tested it with it pointing up. So I was like, and like it's mainly tuned for when you jump up into it. Like there's a lot of finesse in how it's programmed to make that part work. And I think going sideways, like it just blows you. It doesn't do anything fancy.
Terry was asking why they can rotate black holes.
Why not?
Oversight. Because there's slightly different gravity in different directions. Nope. I think it's just an oversight.
What else did we highlight here? What are the different factors at play when the game decides what items show up in the party box beyond just block probabilities? Ideally, in as much, ideally with as many specific details as possible. So, how do the
How
items
does the
end up in
party
the party
box
box?
work? The way the party box works is like the game knows if everybody loses or everybody wins a round, or if like a few people win or lose, and if that keeps happening over and over again, it starts influencing like how many traps or regular platforms get thrown in the mix. So the better you're doing, if everyone's getting to the end, it's going to start giving you more and more traps. And if everybody's dying, it's going to start giving you platforms and bombs because it assumes that like something is wrong with the level. I can't remember if there's anything more specific than that. I feel like at some point we were like, oh, we could make it like give more teleporters once there was already one teleporter in, but I don't think we ever coded that. So that's about it. It's just like, is everyone losing or is everyone succeeding? And I think we also know if you're dying by falling to your death in like a pit, that the game knows that and is like, we probably need more platforms. And you're not just dying by traps, because traps need bombs to get rid of. So, yeah.
I'm sorry, I just saw in chat. Dark Ryu. This is Ultimate Chicken Horse is one of my favorite online games ever. Thank you. Do you guys ever see yourselves making another game for the company? Good question. Moving on.
Like another UCH or another game?
Another game for the company.
Yeah, we're gonna try make another game.
Yep. Yeah, I think we've said that pretty openly. Yes. We're working on something different. Murphy was asking, how do we deal with procrastination?
Kyler.
How do I deal with procrastination?
We'll answer this question later.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
I wait until it's way too late to do the thing. Lists, I guess, sometimes help. But then I have too many lists, and then I forget about my lists and don't deal with them. I guess another answer to that is just knowing that usually things I'm procrastinating are things that are hard, or that I'm over exaggerating how hard they are in my head. So then just like finding the easiest bit to do can get the ball rolling, and then it's like 5 hours later I've actually finished the thing. So yeah, figuring out why it's blocking me and then figuring out an easy way to get started usually gets the whole thing done. Yeah.
Fabio, tips for procrastination?
The best tip I can give to someone that is having trouble procrastinating is have a baby. You have no more time to procrastinate. No more time to
Well,
procrastinate.
and you will prioritize perfectly,
Usually, people
or
that procrastinate
more.
they just push the things that they have to do. Like I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it tomorrow. And you have to do as soon as you have time to do it.
Yeah,
As soon as the baby sleeps or the baby's not around, you have to. You. There's no. You can't procrastinate anymore.
yeah.
So have a baby. Start making babies, everybody.
I
Uh,
don't think we also have the two dads in this chat.
yeah.
Yeah, both have kids.
That's true.
I don't think the baby has reduced my procrastination.
Oh, it
Uh,
has reduced mine.
for me,
Yeah, that's good.
um, just having like due dates helps, and having apps tell me to do things. Uh, like I was really bad with my plants. Like I was just procrastinating, like, oh, it's fine, it doesn't need water. Whereas now I have apps that like notify me, and then it guilts me because it's like this plant is 1 day overdue, and this plant's 3 days, and they're like, okay, I'll do it.
Which
Uh,
app do you use?
so the plant one's called Planta. It's very
Okay.
specific to plants because it like tells me what schedule each plant needs to be watered on, and then
Oh,
it
that's
takes like
sweet.
the local temperatures. So on like really hot days, if there's a lot of hot days, it'll shrink um, the timeline of when I have to water things.
Wow.
Um, yeah, it's pretty neat. I like it a lot. Yeah, just having apps and being organized and like prioritizing too. I generally like if I say I'm going to do something on a certain day, usually I'll like do it. Um, Especially if I give myself no reward. Like if I do it on this day, then I don't know, I get bubble tea or like I get to go to Starbucks that day or whatever. Um, those
See,
are ways.
this is something that never worked for me. Like, oh, just give yourself a reward. If I know that there is a reward, I'll just say, I'll just take the reward right now. If like, oh, if you finish this, you drink a coffee. I'll drink a coffee right now. You know what? I'll drink a coffee while I procrastinate.
I'm definitely on and off. Sometimes I'm really good with like discipline, and sometimes I'm not. Goes back and forth. Demo asked if we're healthy gamers.
I
Kind of.
barely, I
Are
barely play
are
enough,
you
so,
healthy? Oh, sorry, you barely play enough.
so I'm sure that is mostly healthy.
I think you two have pretty like well balanced lives. Like
I tried to be healthy in my personal life, but it seems sometimes that I'm on quicksand. That's how we call it, quicksand. The quicksand of not healthy is always sucking me. While I try to be healthy, I try to be healthy.
Yep.
but you seem like you go out, and is it more like the eating part that's hard to be healthy, or is it being
To
active,
me,
or
like the two things that I struggle the most is eating healthy and exercising, doing like making my body move. Because I go for like days eating well, and suddenly I just stop and just eat the junky food for like a week in a row. Hey, Siri, shut up.
Siri really
And
had something to say about that?
and same thing with movement. Like sometimes I run. Like oh, I run for 1 week. Like a day yes, a day no. And suddenly I spend a month like doing nothing. Like just working and then going to bed.
I'm exactly the same. I feel like I got really bad during the pandemic. I just got really into like stress eating and just like too anxious to go outside. But things are better now for sure. I actually just like signed up for a bunch of like classes and stuff, which will be fun. So
What classes did you sign up for?
trying to sign up for, it was like drawing for people who can't draw, so that should be fun.
Sign me in.
You can draw great, Fabio. At least I
Sign me
hope
in.
so. What's the other one? Zumba and Adobe Photoshop and Illustrator is the other one.
Sweet.
Oh.
I think I misinterpreted that question with healthy gamer. I thought that meant like, do you game for way too long when you're gaming or something?
Oh,
Oh, maybe. If that's the case, and I am not a healthy gamer at all. I played 10 hours of Civilization 6 on Saturday, and I'm like the kind of person that like if I get sucked into a game, I am like obsessive. I think I did like 150 hours of Fire Emblem Three Houses in less than a month.
Wow.
And that's why I don't play video games. I don't play video games. I'm done with
Too
that.
sucked in.
Yes, I'm addicted. I can't really.
Tag was asking, what's our least favorite food?
Kyler.
Chicken feet. I've tried to eat them, and like I just can barely even get any of the stuff off of them. So the first time I saw them, I was like revolted, and then I tried them again, and I was like, I just can't get anything.
Wait, did you try the soy ones or the spicy kind?
They were like barbecue.
Okay, so like probably the soy.
Yeah.
Because the spicy
fun thing
one...
is that when I was a kid in Brazil, we didn't have money, so we were eating chicken feet all the time. And I remember liking it. When I was a kid, I was eating chicken feet. Oh, yum, yum. And then things got a little bit better. I grew up, and we stopped eating chicken feet. And one day I tried, and I said, "This is just disgusting, just cartilage." So yeah. But the worst food ever. This is the. But if you put a plate of chicken feet now, I will eat it. Might not be the best food ever, but I will eat it.
Yeah.
But there's only one thing that I will never eat. This is the worst food ever, which is giló. Giló is the only thing that I don't eat. It's terrible. Giló.
What does it look like?
You don't have giló in Canada, fortunately. Giló is this letter.
Yeah, J.
ILO. It's a vegetable.
Okay.
But it's in your. The crazy thing is that it's in your DNA. Like 10% of the people love giló, and 90% hate it. There's no midterm. And it's in your DNA.
That's like cilantro. Like people have the gene for cilantro that makes it taste like soap.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
But giló is if you don't like giló, it's impossible to eat. It's impossible to eat.
Is it like a root vegetable, or is it like a...
No, it looks a little bit like Brussels sprouts
okay.
on the shape.
Mm-hmm.
But it's round, it's green, and it's terrible. Giló. I would love to see.
I've never heard of it.
I would love to see everyone in Clever Endeavor eating giló, just to see your faces.
Is there a Brazilian restaurant we can go to get it at? Or would they even have it here?
Giló, because if you open a restaurant and you have in your menu giló, I don't think you will make a lot of money.
Okay. So we have to go to Brazil to get it.
Next time I go to Brazil, I'll bring giló for you.
Yes. Okay. For me, in Korea, there's like a side dish. I think it's called pondegi. And it's like silkworms. And I'm honestly down to try everything once. Like, I don't tend to get like grossed out by foods. Like, I'll try it generally. Like, I've eaten crickets, I've eaten mealworms, I've eaten snake. Like, basically, like, whatever, I'll try it. But these silkworms, they have like the grossest texture. They're like kind of chalky in texture.
Are they real worms or just the name?
They're real like silkworms.
No.
And they cook them in some kind of sauce. But really, it's the texture. I think if it was like crunchy or like anything other than chalky, I think it might be okay. But it's like this chalky texture. It doesn't taste great. Anyways, I think it's one of those things you have to like grow up eating to like. But I think that was like the only food in my entire time in Korea that I just could not get behind. I was like, I'm so sorry, I can't. Uh, Especially like if I eat holiday fruitcake. I mean, if I have to, I like it's very rare for me to have like a visceral like bleh reaction, and one thingy was like it.
Holiday fruit cake?
You never had it, Fabio?
It's the first time I hear this holiday fruit cake.
Man, you are not missing out.
What is
It's
it?
like it's almost like bread with fruit in it. Like imagine like really stale bread.
Are you talking about panettone?
It's
It's
a
a different thing, right?
fruitcake's like a very British thing slash colonial era.
Okay. It might be similar to panettone. I love panettone, but by the way you're describing it, it just looks like panettone, but it's not the same at all.
Okay.
Panettone, you have panettone here in Montreal. I've seen it everywhere. Panettone. Panettone. You do the panettone. Is
Uh,
panettone the same thing as fruit cake? How do you call it? Holiday
Fruitcake.
fruit cake?
Yeah, just look up fruitcake.
Is panettone, Google, is panettone the same as fruit cake? Is panettone this? No, panettone is not fruit cake. Okay, thank you, Google.
Google knows all the answers and we don't. I saw Madman in chat, so we can answer this. Do we have the overall statistics of what maps are played the most by players and what animals are picked the most? All other things like most lethal trap in the game, etc.
Um, we used to, and then the system to like gather that analytics has not been maintained very well, so we haven't been looking at it recently. And I'm just looking to see if I can find some of that data because we did compile it once, but I have not.
I looked at that since I started here because I asked for such a thing. I was also curious, and it's not as interesting as people think, simply because how often levels and animals are used is mostly by how early you unlock them.
Yes,
So
yes, that
like,
was
yeah, the ones that you unlock last are the least played. The ones that you unlock at the beginning are the most played. I think
yes,
it'd be
yes,
more
yes.
interesting if all of the characters were available from the get go, and then you could see that.
Yeah, you'd have to like you could scientifically analyze like the players that have unlocked everything, and then check what gets picked. But yeah, we didn't set that up to be that precise. Also, we just make stuff because we like it usually, not because the analytics tell us to make a thing.
True.
It would be like a really big full-time job to analyze the data of a game like this, to like actually be able to pull out some thread of useful data.
Yeah, we don't have like an easy system set up where we just have a page where we can be like, oh no, chicken stats are down. Like people, chicken is down 20% this week. Released new DLC. Yeah, we don't have that kind of thing.
That's also the thing I like about premium games, where you buy it and then you get it, so we don't have to like finesse every little thing that everyone does. That would be very tedious.
And it makes more sense for games that have like gameplay elements to them. So like fighting games, right? Like if one character is being played like 90% of the time and is winning 90% of the time, you want to nerf them. Or if there's like a specific gun that like no player is using, then you'll want to like bump that up. Like there's balancing stuff there. But But for our game, whether or not you use horse or elephant is not as
Black hole is
impactful.
OP.
No, bees. They hate the bees, Kyler. Bees need nerf.
They hate
I-
the bees.
They
Why?
hate the
think-
bees.
I think the bees actually are going to get a tiny nerf. There was a mistake that was making them spawn too often. I think.
That's right, yeah.
Oh, okay.
So there might be less bees. Do they actually hate the bees?
I don't hate the bees.
It's not that they hate the bees, they hate how what they call randos online use bees. There's like a
Okay.
certain bee meta that they hate. But yeah.
I can understand that. It is one of the few like things where you can actually like influence other players.
There's like in Twitch streams there's something called bee spam where someone keeps sending bees to the game. I could see yeah. Bees can bottleneck players and make it not fun. Yeah. But something I find funny is this is all like you made the level. You made it not fun. You didn't have to put the bees there. You didn't have to make it not fun.
Yeah.
But you did. But I'm just as bad. When I play with friends, we make it hard. Because that's half.
A useful stat would be to see which items people change the settings of the most often. That would be quite a useful stat. I don't know if we ever collected that.
What else do we have? I like this question. If you were to change anything about the way you designed Ultimate Chicken Horse, what would it be?
Tyler.
It's a perfect game. What would I change?
I have one.
What's yours?
I really would like a tutorial or like onboarding.
Onboarding.
Yeah,
Yes,
I don't know.
that would be
There's
good.
a lot of there's so much depth to Ultimate Chicken Horse that I think not a lot of people know or discover. And after I joined Clever Endeavor, I discovered like so many things. Like I had no idea there was different game settings. I literally had only known party. I didn't know challenge or like the games or the player made community levels were there. Like
Yeah.
there was so many things. I was like, I'm missing all of this. So I think if we were to redesign it, making some of those aspects a little more obvious to players.
Yeah, and like actually discoverable. Yeah.
Which is a lot easier to do when you're not doing it in hindsight. It's
yeah. And yeah, like we slowly added things over the years. So then you're like, oh, we made 5,000 features, and some people know all of them, but a lot of people don't. What would I change? I guess like from a root level, I'd want to make the platforming, like the physics of the game, more reproducible. Like right now, we just did it in Unity using like, it's not standard physics, but it's like floating point numbers, where if you do the same thing over and over again, you might get slightly different answers. But if you made it with like some different math, you could make it completely reproducible. And from there, you could get a lot of other advantages, I think. Also, at the beginning, I was very willy-nilly with like the door that opens and closes is like a half unit wide. And like a bunch of other things are just like kind of random proportions. I think I would nail down like which proportions are allowed and why. Like I'm okay with things that are half blocks, but like not completely randomly picking half blocks would be good. What would you change, Fabio?
Nothing. It's like you said, perfect game, perfect game.
Perfect game.
There are things that I would like to like. I wouldn't change. I would add, like, but So it would be nice to have more than 4 players at once.
That is always a thing that we
Yeah.
want, and I've heard.
I think people like us too. Like I think we, if we could just like, it was a 5 minute, 10 minute job, we'd just be like, here's 8 players. But I don't think people realize how much work there is behind that. Like you have to add like, you don't have 8 characters at the beginning, so then you have to change how the characters are unlocked at the beginning, and then the levels aren't really designed for 8 players doing 10 rounds, so you have to make the levels bigger. Like there's
Yeah.
UI stuff that needs to be changed and added. Like it's a lot.
Yeah. There was like this is a big thing that changed slowly that I noticed is that when the game started there were like 15 blocks or something. I don't remember how many, but there weren't very many blocks. And then as the game kept getting bigger, it's like we're up to like 30 blocks or something. And it just means that like the game is inherently more complicated right away because the party box can give you anything, which is fun, but it also is like very kind of randomly designed in a way that I think like if you make a Mario Maker level, it's better to pick like a theme of like this level's going to be all about spiky things, and you use all the types of spikes, but you don't use any of the like ice stuff. Maybe looking into that from a game perspective of like maybe the game picks a kind of a theme for the next little while and sticks with that. But it would take testing. I don't know if it'd actually be better. But
Yeah, that could be fun.
yeah.
Here's a question from Harry. Harry, where do we all come from / live? I thought it was fun because we have 2 immigrants here.
Yeah.
And Kyler, you're not even technically from Montreal.
No. I'll start first because mine's the most boring. I'm from Calgary.
Where's your cowboy hat?
It's in Calgary.
Come on.
I got one when I worked at the Stampede for one summer as
Have to bring it
security,
to every time.
and I had to tell the cowboys not to smoke. I don't know if I was very effective because I was like 16. Where are you from, Fabio?
I am from Salvador, Bahia, Brazil, South America, the south part of the globe. Salvador, represent. Bahia, Brazil.
Is that what your flag says behind you? I've never known, actually. What is the flag behind you?
No, that's just a beer.
Ah,
Is it a
Modelo
Brazilian
beer.
beer?
Modelo.
Where are you from, Steph?
I'm from all over. Born in Scotland, lived in Calgary for, I don't know, my later childhood, preteen years. Went to school in Vancouver. And now I'm in Toronto. And then Kyler and Fabio are both in Montreal. And I think I'm the only one on the team that doesn't live in Montreal currently.
Yeah.
For now.
Is there any other questions that catch your eyes here? Let's go. Oh, maybe you can answer this, Kyler. Whose idea was if you owned the Ultimate Chicken Wars soundtrack, you have permission to play it in your streams?
I don't know whose idea. Maybe was it yours, Steph? Or
No, that was long before me.
it's probably Jen's then. But it seems like a good idea, like to get our music out there at least. People need music to stream, and we own the license, and it seems like a good idea overall. I can't believe I don't quite hate the music yet.
I was gonna ask. I know I think we were talking about this before. Like, who still plays the game with the music on and who turns it off?
I
I
play
keep,
with the music.
I
I
keep
play
it
with the music
Music,
off and
music.
on,
off and on.
but sometimes I do some like really boring testing that. But also, some of the testing needs me to play the music on because sometimes the music breaks.
Mm.
So,
Here's a question from IE. What priority does the team have for fixing the animal's visual bugs, such as layering issues and stray pixels in certain frames?
it's generally pretty low, but some of it's really easy. So sometimes that happens. Currently, I don't know of any visual bugs, so partially I just maybe don't know. So then the priority is very low.
Yeah, I think
Layering issues. We've tried to handle stuff, but there's some layering stuff that just is almost impossible.
yeah, we have for a huge database of bugs, like internally, that is huge. And then we just prioritize based on like what actually breaks the game or feels like if you do something that you expect and it doesn't do what you expect, how frustrating is that? Or like core to the game experience is that? Then it's very high priority and stuff that's like, oh, it's kind of a little annoying, but it's not like game breaking or extremely frustrating. I think we tend to just be like, it is what it is.
Yeah. We have, I think there's been about 1,300 bugs in the lifetime of UCH, and there's currently around 100 or 90 that are open, but some of them are very minor.
I was gonna say, I thought we were closer to like the 1700 mark.
Because that's the number in the system, but there's a gap of like 500 that never existed.
I saw some from Mafri, and I thought Fabio might have opinions. What's the best chocolate flavor?
The best chocolate flavor? I mean, isn't isn't chocolate a flavor?
Well, like there's like dark chocolate. There's like 80%, 70%.
Well,
There's like milk
what kind of
chocolate, white
tea?
chocolate. There's
I
chili
like
chocolate, sea salt.
I love sea salt chocolate.
Mm.
I like chocolate with like dark chocolate. Like I don't like very sweet chocolate. If you put almonds or any nuts on it, it makes it even better. And salt, what you salt, sea salt. I love that as well. I'm not a big chocolate lover. I don't like. I don't. I prefer salty stuff than sweet stuff.
I'm like a big chocolate lover, but I had to give it up. So, because it made me not sleep.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Gives you insomnia?
Yeah, pretty much. Like, yeah. So and like I've tried a bunch of things and I was like, okay, I'll try not having chocolate ever. And then my sleep was way better.
But
Like,
were
okay,
you sleeping a lot? A small piece already is already enough for you not to sleep.
a small piece can do it.
Oh, damn.
What was your
Yeah,
favorite
so
before that? Was it like milk, dark, white?
um dark chocolate's probably my favorite. And
Oh,
like for
dark.
Christmas I'd make chocolate bark for everybody. Mm.
What?
You
Like,
like you melt chocolate and you cover layers and you put nuts in and other candy and you put more layers of chocolate.
isn't what do you call when a dog makes
That's
Bark,
bark.
yeah.
But there's also tree
So
bark, right?
it's like
Like
tree bark.
the bark on a tree.
like the shell of the tree,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
Yeah,
skin of the tree? Hmm.
yeah.
Living and learning.
Um,
Okay.
I I'm like in the mid ground. I prefer chocolate in things than like chocolate as like a pure form. If that makes sense, like chocolate cake or like a chocolate icing. But like I'm less likely to have like a chocolate in a bar. Uh, I go back and forth between milk chocolate and about a 70%. dark. Because depending how strong my sweet tooth that day is. But I agree, Fabio, like nuts. Like hazelnut and chocolate.
Delicious.
Someday there'll be a day where like I don't have to sleep, and then I can eat all the chocolate I want.
The kids like are teenagers and can take care of themselves.
Yeah. Or maybe I'll go on like a trip or something. And I'll be like, I have to be awake for 26 hours or something.
We answered the question about the layer 2 option for aesthetically gifted players. I might need you to word that a little bit differently, Madman Slayer. I don't quite understand.
I don't understand.
Maybe it's about like having like the foreground and background blocks, I think. Maybe. We'll see. We'll see what Madman says. I've seen that asked a couple of times. Here's one. Growing up, was game developing something that you always wanted to do, or did you have other career choices? By Mario.
Go Fabio.
I never thought I was going to work in video games. Never, ever, 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 ever thought about that.
Did
I
you
knew I was going.
Did you want to, but you didn't think you would, or
No, I
like
never.
just never
No,
even thought?
it was never an option for me. Like I never thought about that. But I always knew that I was going to work doing art. That's for sure. So I worked in a lot of places doing art, like in printing companies, web design companies, stuff like that, animation companies. And then I came here, and then I started working in gaming companies. And then I started doing stuff for Clever Endeavor, and I'm doing stuff for video game now, which is crazy, 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 crazy. Yes, I love it. It's insane. I think it's so far it's the best way to apply the art that I do. Like it's the nicest way to apply the art that I do.
Sweet. I think I always knew that I knew at some point I wanted to do game stuff, but I didn't aim right at it. I aimed at more like film animation and like 3D graphics, probably for like movies and stuff. That's more where I was aimed at. But I think that was also partially just because at the time there were no really good game development programs around me. But then I was always working on little game projects with other people, so it wasn't a big surprise. What about you, Steph?
I always liked games growing up, but I also didn't really think about making them. I just enjoyed playing them. It wasn't until I think I moved to Toronto and I found some like local game development studios and like events that I really started thinking about working in games. Or I think in university we had a representative from EA come and do a talk about marketing. I think that was also like an awakening of like, oh yeah, there's game studios in Canada. I could potentially work one. But now as a kid, I was like, I'm gonna be a vet, or I'm gonna, I don't know. I just didn't think of game development until much later in life. I think things have changed significantly since we were kids.
Yeah. I
Like
guess the thing that
I didn't even know like social media or community was a job until I accidentally fell into it about 4 or 5 years ago. So
yeah. I guess like the thing that did it for me was having moved to Montreal, and then I started going to like the Montreal Game Society indie meetups that used to happen, and like that led to a bunch of other like gaming things in Montreal. That would be like the catalyst.
That's where you met Richard.
Yeah, and also like heard about Execution Labs, which was like a game studio incubator, which we never were part of, but we were always like one step behind and at all their events. So, Madman Slayer explain more that they're talking about multiple layers for building levels. Um, it definitely would be a nice to have feature, but the way that we set up everything doesn't allow for it very easily in UCH as it currently is. But it is definitely a thing that we know people want. Um, and like if I was redoing UCH, I would make making custom levels way better. Because like when we started, we didn't at all think that was going to be a thing. Because we were like, yeah, custom levels came a lot later. Also, the
Is,
amount of custom levels is crazy. What, Fabio?
Steph, how, is there, how many people is watching live now?
There
Five,
are 6.
10, 6? You six people about work. If you want to work, if you want to do something and you think it's very difficult or impossible, because I remember when I always knew I wanted to draw ever since I was a kid. And first I thought it was impossible to work with drawing. And then I figured out, oh no, people can do that. And then I wanted to do animation, but then I thought, no, animation it's just you have to be genius to make animation. And then no, it's just you have to do an effort to learn. And then video games the same. Like I thought that video games were made by computers and people that work on computers and know math. And then you see that no, you only need dedication and you have to learn a little bit, and then you can do video game. It's like that with everything. You six people right there. If you want to do something, you think it. Oh, I'm not going to do because it's impossible. I want to do a new computer, but it's impossible to make a computer. It's not impossible. Just study a little bit and look up for it. It's research, and you see you can do what you want. You can work with what you want. It's not impossible, huh? It's not impossible.
I also feel like something that they didn't really teach us in school. It felt like, or at least me growing up in school, it felt like there was very, very narrow career paths available. It was like you become, like, you go into business, you be a lawyer, or you be a doctor, like, or an artist. Like, it was very like, here are your tiny little blocks, and you have to choose one. But then the actual like careers and job market, it's so much wider than that, than what we used to think. Like look at, if even if you look at like a TV studio, right? Like if you want to work in television, you could do lighting, you could be behind the camera, you could be doing editing, you could be making graphics, you could be doing their accounting, you could be their lawyer, you could be the people like in front of the camera actually presenting. Like you can work in so many different fields and there are so many different avenues. Like you don't have to worry about getting stuck. So like if you really want to be like in theater or arts, you don't have to necessarily be an actor. You could be doing makeup. You could be doing, like, you could technically be a lawyer and you could just like focus on working with contracts for people in the arts.
Mm-hmm.
Same with video games. Like you could be a video game lawyer, right? Like just like you don't have to be a programmer or an artist to get into games. You can
But
basically
if
do
you want to
anything.
be, but if you want to be, you can. Huh? I,
Absolutely.
speaking of TV, I remember I also worked for TV once for the public television in Salvador. And I remember once I had to make my first infographic. They reached me and said, "Hey, you have 10 minutes to make this infographic. It's going to be on air in 10 minutes live." I was like, "Oh shit!" And then I saw we had a TV on all the time. And when I saw my graphic there, I said, wow, wow, wow. It's look at that. I did that. It's on TV now. The same thing when I did the first things for Chicken Horse and I saw people playing it. I was like, I did that thing. I drew that thing and it's on the video game right now.
Now
It
it's on
was
Twitch. It's on YouTube.
it's so nice. So
Yeah.
nice. And I am not a genius, huh? Far from it. Far from it.
Yeah, I feel like even as you get into the industry, you're like people who worked on really cool things. They're also just like cool human beings, or doing their best.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, I think we've answered like a pretty good amount of questions today. So unless there's any
Yeah.
remaining questions from chat, last minute questions, might call it there. Unless you guys have some more parting words.
I think I'm good.
Was that a question?
Do you have any more questions or ideas, Fabio?
I have so many questions, so many ideas. I don't think this is the correct
Okay.
time to ask them.
Thanks for having us, Steph.
Thank you both for being on.
High five, Fabio.
High five.
High five, Steph.
Oh, I
Fabio
don't
used
even
to
know
come
where
in
my
the
camera is.
office every day and used to high five everyone as he came in.
Yes.
I'm very excited to one day experience the Fabio high five IRL.
Yes.
But yes, thank you everyone for listening and joining and asking questions. Thank Kyler and Fabio for being here. There will not be a stream next week because I'm on vacation. So
Yay, vacation.
yay, I'm excited. So yeah, we'll see you in 2 weeks. Right?
Bye.
Bye everyone. Bye.